Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. More, hate less, read comics. It's Blake's Buzz Live.
Buzz, buzz, babies.
Buzz, buzz, babies, and it is, what is it? It's Thursday Night Live. It's a special episode of Blake's Buzz Live. With me tonight, I've got Michael Gecko Adams, the guy with the coolest unofficial middle name ever. How you doing tonight, Michael?
Great, man. How are you doing?
Dude, I'm doing good. I was, it's interesting how we met, because I got to do my first Comic-Con as press, and I was, like, super overwhelmed, and everything was crazy. And then, oddly enough, like, Saturday got to be like my day. Like I was like, if I can get any interviews today, it'll be okay. But this is the day I can like fuck around and do stuff that I want to do. And then like, Sunday was when I was going to hit the interview circuit hard. And then, so I'm running around Planet Comicon and, I go to this panel, right. And it's just like a few guys. It's just Kevin Eastman and oh man, Jimmy Palmiotti and Chris Claremont, right? Like who are these guys talking? These old dudes talking about comics. Anyway, I watched this crazy panel, right? And then at the end of it, that same guy, Kevin Eastman, I got to interview him for a few minutes in a hallway at Kansas City Planet Comicon. So I'm a buzz, right? I'm lit up. I'm like excited. And the previous evening, Michael had messaged me on Twitter and he was like, Blake, like I'm digging your platform. Like come swing by and let's talk comics. So after Eastman, I was like, cool. Like I'm going to go find Michael. And then I found him and he had some amazing art around in a great banner and like, dude, just a super nice guy. Gave me a great little gift package, like made me feel like a rock star. Just like showing up, like interviewing comic people, getting free comics, and then peacing out. But no, it was so cool to meet you, and I'm so glad you reached out because there was a few people that I wanted to meet and stuff too that I didn't get a chance to. So I mean, I feel like I just, I would have missed, like, I don't know if I would have seen you otherwise if you hadn't reached out. And I'm so glad we met, because we could talk about that later. But, I mean, one of the reasons why Blake's Buzz is on a PR venture right now is because of Michael, like, and his ideas, that he was talking to me about. Anyway, I should probably let Michael talk. I'm just going on and on and on, but we had a cool origin story, right? And yeah. I know writers and artists don't like to answer the origin story, so I just answered it for us and like filled you all in on some cool little tidbits, why Comic-Cons are awesome, why Michael Gecko Adams is awesome, and we're about to talk about why Kung Fu fucking Legume is awesome. What's going on, Michael? How you been, man? What's happening? I know you got some things up your sleeve, a bunch of cool stuff to talk about, cartoons, comics, life. Like, what's up, man?
Yeah, it's been crazy. So I finished up issue 5, which was the last issue of the miniseries for Kung Fu Legume. And after that, I was just kind of like, what's the next step for this? And I get a lot of people coming up to me at conventions asking about, is it going to be an animation, or they're saying it should be an animation? Yeah. And I'm like, and that's a great idea. How can I do that, right?
Yeah.
So I talked to Keen Spot, who's the publisher, and I was like, I think around issue 3, I started asking him, like, hey, this is the feedback I'm getting. What do you think about that? And he's like, well, we have a couple things in the works already with some other of our titles, so it's definitely a possibility. So nice. Yeah, from there, I waited until issue 5, and then I because it's my first book with Keen Spot, and I wanted to show I could finish a project before asking them for anything, right? So after issue 5, I was like, hey, man, so, what's our next steps with this? And he was like, put together a pitch deck, and we'll send it over to Zero Gravity, who's their management company. And so I was like, what's a pitch deck? I had never done a pitch deck, so he sent me an example and put that together, sent it back to him for some notes. He gave me a few notes, and I had to come up with, I think I came up with like 13 episodes for an animated series.
Wow.
Just short, like 3-4 sentence ideas. And I was on a family vacation, And me and my wife sat down and had a bottle of wine and just laughed and came up with some cool ideas and sent it to King Spot, and they, had some notes, made some adjustments, and then they're like, cool. And then I got an email back saying, hey, I don't know if you know who Richard Purcell is, but he was the showrunner for SpongeBob, and also a ton of other things, Looney Tunes, Ben 10.
Yeah, he's been around the block.
Ren and Stimpy, like he's an Emmy nominated writer. So I was like, yeah, I know who he is. He goes, I want to send it to him and see what he thinks, because he's also the head writer for another one that Keen Spot is working on called Softball Crew. That's based on Bobby Crosby's YouTube channel, where they do these softball games. And they also did I think 1 or 2 issues of a comic for that too. So he was like, well, let me send it to him and see if he's interested. And I was like, yeah. And then, you're just sweating bullets. It's like, Richard.
How long is that wait period from email to response? Like,
man, normally what I was told, probably about a month. We heard back in 4 hours.
No way.
Yeah. Richard was very excited about it. He loves the idea and wanted to be showrunner. So he's tied as showrunner on Kung Fu Legume, and I couldn't think of anyone better to represent that.
Sick, dude.
Yeah. Like, so that evening, me and my wife met up at a restaurant, and I had printed out the email, and she's sitting there. She knows I have news, and, put in our drink order and stuff. And then I slide the email across the table to her, and she reads it. And we're both like just happy and laughing and getting teary eyed. And, Kung Fu Legume has been with my family since '99. I came up with the character a long time ago, and I just never created a book. Never.
Oh, wow.
So I have had this idea and the story I wanted to tell for a very long time. So my kids grew up with him. It's been a character that's been around for a very long time.
That's so cool. I can tell there's like there's so much like heart. It's such a good all ages comic, and it's a great comic that, I don't want kids at all. And for just a moment, you made me be like, man, it'd be cool if like there was a younger kid in our family. I could like read him these comics and like show him this like at a young age. And then I was like, get that out of your head, Blake. Like, because like my sister and I are about all that's left, and so like, and my sister doesn't want kids either. So, but it was like you made me like feel that for just an awkward moment before I realized there was no hope for that coming. But no, I was like, man, like this would be a great way to show a kid a comic book, or even like, like some kid who's like, reading sucks, I don't want to read anything. And then you could be like, some reading is all reading is fun, but you got to like coax them into that sometimes. Be like, dude, I get it. Books are gross, but check these out. And I was just like, this is like, be way more fun to read than like a regular like bedtime story that a kid is heard like a million times, even if you're doing the voices and stuff. And it's really fun. Do you think it got picked up so quickly? Do you think you got that 4-minute email, or 4-hour email? Do you think that happened because of how cute his little beanie butt is? So do you think was that in your storyboards or anything that you sent him? Because like there's a couple times we see those little bean mounds, man, and it gets me every time. And it's just like, it's like a bean, right? It's like, who cares if a bean has a butt? And it's just, oh man, it's smart decision from the artist, creator, letterer. Everybody, I don't know if we mentioned this, we haven't mentioned it, but I don't know if you know this. Kung Fu Legume is written, drawn, everything is done by Michael Gecko Adams. He does everything. And he's a great artist, and he's a great storyteller, and he's got the jokes. And he's also going to give away a sketch cover if people tune in and enter #Legume for a giveaway. So yeah, he's gonna sketch that up for you. I don't know if he wants to take requests, or if it's gonna be a.
Yeah, we can do requests.
Requests. Nothing weird. Like, don't get fucking weird on me, audience. Like, don't
I don't do porn.
Yeah. See, so
I don't draw nudity.
no, safe for work. Commission, like we're gonna away a commission, folks. This is like we've leveled up tonight. Like the Blake's Buzz giveaway game is strong. Well, or it's about to be, hopefully. Anyway, but yeah, so he does all of this, and I'm even more excited and impressed that I figured that I thought Keen Spotlight came to you because I knew they were doing a lot of media and like TV and shows and branching out and stuff like that, and so I thought they would be like I thought they would have been the ones that like initiated that. That talk and be like, hey, like we want to take this and make it into an animated series, but like, you having to like storyboard it and like prep the pitch and stuff, man. Was how out of your wheelhouse was that, or have you had experience with anything like that before?
No, that was totally foreign to me. I've never done anything like that.
Did you get on YouTube and like watch a YouTube video like how do I pitch an animated series? Because I've asked YouTube questions like that before, and it gives you a video for it.
There was one with some people. It was like 3 people from Nickelodeon, and they talk about all the like lessons learned and do's and don'ts of pitching, and I found it really, really good information. So yeah,
that's cool.
And the pitch deck is really just basically an overview of your story and just kind of a PowerPoint of, this is the age range, this is the character breakdowns, this is the comparison, like what it's similar to, here's who's attached. And then that goes through to the management company, Zero Gravity, and then they take it from there and kind of shop it out and set up the pitch meetings. And then at some point, I'll be doing some Zoom calls with Richard and Keen Spot and probably a couple of others doing pitches, trying to find it a home, finding a network or a streaming service.
I've wondered that if like pitching a show, how different it is with all these different streaming services. If it's almost in a sense of like, I mean, not necessarily this route, but like, if you want to make a comic book right now, you can take it to yourself. You can go to Kickstarter. I mean, I see people Kickstart actually that they do like movies and TV shows on there too, I guess. So, I mean, you really could like, we were just mentioning in the, how he was not really the stress of Kickstarter and how Michael didn't know if that's like a way he wanted to go. And I'm just thinking it'd be like, yeah, just like if it doesn't work, just kickstart this animated series. That'll be easy peasy, man. But no, that's so exciting. I can't imagine like Hollywood shit. Like I've heard about it. I've had guests on before and like have shows or ideas get picked up and scripts picked up and things like this. And like, I remember right after I interviewed one creator, I watched his movie, like with my family, and like everybody was into it. And I was like, hey, this is the guy I just interviewed. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah, that's right. I interview Hollywood people now. But it's just like, it's, I can't imagine what that would be like to get that call and to get that pitch accepted or moved up and to like, I don't know, like the idea of like your dream coming, like a dream coming true, or like maybe not even, I don't know, like maybe a dream you didn't even know you had where you were like, oh, maybe this would make a good, like you said, like people kind of pitched it to you first.
Right away, you're just kind of a dopamine high. You're like, your brain's swimming, you're riding an emotional roller coaster for a day or two.
Yeah.
But then it kind of settles down, and now we're in kind of the slower part of it. So, now you have days where it's like, is this really happening? You start kind of questioning it. Did that really happen? Was it really like this? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to pitch it, and hopefully someone will pick it up and we can find it a home.
Now, are you going to like start with the issues, or are you just going to like, is it going to be like new? I mean, I know eventually it's going to have to be new content, new story, but like, would the premiere be, this journey to fight the Lizard King, or?
Yeah, that's the way I had it plotted out. It was like the first 3 or 4 episodes, I think.
Okay.
Was the origin through the Lizard King.
Okay. It
was kind of the whole thing, and then from there it went on to their separate adventures. But that's really going to be up to Richard Purcell to write out, and because really anything I gave was suggestions.
Yeah.
So it's really his genius is going to come in and go, okay, here's where I see it going, and here's what I think we should do. And of course, I'm going to default to his creative genius.
I was going to ask what that situation would be like, because you mentioned how tight this is to you and how, like, this grew up with you and your family and is this like intimate thing too. Like if he comes in, he's like, I think this should happen. And you'd be like, no, sir, like slamming your hand on the desk.
So I've heard stories of artists like ruining deals.
Yeah.
Where they were just too married to what they created.
I gotcha.
What I created already exists. It exists in comic form, and that's not going to change. So where it goes from now, isn't as important to me.
Okay.
So I'm not like married to it. And I know someone like Richard is going to do a great job. So I don't have to really worry about it. So I definitely am not going to, step on a landmine and because I'm some creative genius and it has to be my way, right?
Yeah.
I think that's ridiculous.
I hope they keep the origin though. Like I just keep thinking about this absolutely insane origin story. So I'm gonna go ahead and this happens in issue 1, folks. So I'm gonna do a little spoiler here to talk about one of the best goddamn comic book origin stories I've ever witnessed in my life. All right, so these asshole astronauts dump their trash out into space. Right, just unprotected trash. It's not wrapped up. It's not bundled. They're just dumping it out into space, and one of the trash messes up a satellite, and this satellite just so happens to only be for transmitting the Kung Fu channel to planet Earth. Like it's the Kung Fu satellite, and one of the things that's in the trash is a can of beans, and it gets irradiated by these radio waves signals carrying the Kung Fu media to our awaiting anxious nerdy television sets at home. And it makes it through the atmosphere, crashes into the earth, and a man walks outside of his home and sees this wreckage, and there's a can of beans sticking out of the earth, and he does what any man would do in that situation. He plucks it out of the ground and he takes it inside to eat it because he fucking loves beans.
Free beans, man. And what happens? The beans never get cooked, and our Kung Fu legume springs into action, and after it starts there. Yeah. And it gets nuttier and more fun and hilarious. And dude, how did you come up with it? Earlier you mentioned like you and the wife around a table with a bottle of wine. Yeah,
this is like bottles of wine territory. Like I don't know, maybe something more than wine. I don't even know, but just like so insane and fun. And you like walked this line of like, I'm going to be absolutely ridiculous, but it's going to work. And it works with the narrative and the pacing and the tone. And so like one step further, like one more gaffe, you might've lost like your older audience potentially, but you walked this line. Like how hard was that? Like, because I feel like once you cross into that kind of level of zaniness, you're like, but you still kept a real tight story. So like, tell me your secrets, man. Like what were your brainstorming sessions like? This idea, like this, I get the bean, I get the ninja, like it's very Ninja Turtle-esque, right? But like this origin story is not, it goes beyond the Secret of the Ooze, man. It's not Splinter raising baby mutated. Like you went past that. So congratulations. Now tell us all how to create comic books.
It's man. Well, first of all, I don't approach comics the way most do, and any comic creator is about to hear what I'm going to say is probably going to want to lynch me and like hang me dry or something. But I don't write a script.
Really?
What I do is I write plot points.
Okay.
So I do a beginning, middle, and end. And I learned this from something Doug TenNapel did a long time ago. Of course, he takes it and writes a script. He does it probably the correct way. But with a script, I feel very bottled in. And so when I go to draw it, I feel like I have to stick to what I wrote, you know? So what I do is a beginning, middle, end of the issue. And then I take that and I do a beginning, middle, end of each of those segments. And then a beginning, middle, end of each of those segments.
Okay.
And then I draw from plot point to plot point. And that leaves me with the freedom to kind of joke and have fun and change things. Like if I see something that I think, oh man, this is going to work better here, and then I'll change like a whole scene because
Wow.
the story evolves, for me. And then after I've drawn it, I go back and I write the dialogue. So I know, like through the plotting, oh, they're arguing right here. And I have a general idea what they're arguing about, but I don't know exactly what they're saying until I letter it.
Wow.
So then I go in and I write the dialogue. And
You're a fucking maverick.
anybody who does comics is going to hate that. They're going to say it's terrible, but it works for me. It's the one thing that's freed me to be able to do comics on my own. And, it worked with Kung Fu Review.
I mean, I could see how not having a script would free you from the script. But,
yeah.
I mean, like, have you ever gotten into a hiccup like that? Like, or say like these pages are drawn and you don't know what they say yet, and then all of a sudden you realize you're like, oh wait, I needed a little bit more time for this conversation, or like maybe this panel's gonna have an extra bubble. Like has that happened, or do you?
That has happened. I've had to go in and add a page or redraw a panel because it didn't really speak to what I was wanting to, or as I was drawing it. So when I did issue 1 and 2, I didn't write any notes as I drew it. I just drew it and I went back, and then I forgot kind of like what I was wanting them to do at that point. And I was like, what was I thinking? So when I got to 3, 4, and 5, as I was drawing it, I would scribble notes on the panel of like, oh, they're doing this and they're talking about this little kind of notes to guide me so I wouldn't forget when I got back to that panel. But yeah, I don't recommend it. I'm not selling this, so this is not going to be a downloadable PDF of how to make it.
Yeah, this isn't a master class. This is Blake's Buzz.
Yeah, I'm definitely not recommending that. I'm just saying for me, that's what worked. And
wow,
for the first creator-owned book that I did, that's what got me over the hump and allowed me to have the freedom to create, this project. So I don't think I could have done it if I'd restrained myself.
Well, I like that. Like I said, as I mentioned in that wondrous origin story recap I gave, the Unchained works, right? So like keep it working. But yeah, I did not really expect to hear that. That's so interesting. That totally checks out though with this comic, right? Because this comic isn't like anything I've experienced before, and it's not the way like it's structured, but like panel layouts and stuff. There's a lot of big. Do you read manga? Do you like manga at all?
Yeah, manga. I watch a lot of anime. So
okay,
I lived in Japan for like 5 years. So yeah.
Because the structure reminded me of manga, like bigger panels, more space utilized, more motion. It's a quick moving, comic.
Yeah, I did that on purpose. I didn't want a book that you had to chew, right? I wanted something that
no one likes chewy beans.
Yeah, you can just get through it, right? And I was thinking a lot of young readers, and I didn't want tons of dialogue and 20 little panels, with 200 words in each panel. I didn't want anything crazy. I wanted something that was fun and visually funny and told the story and got to the point and hit those little, those little funny lines that I wanted to include throughout the book. And, I think it accomplished that.
Yes, it definitely did. It accomplishes a lot, actually. It like, I just really, this grandpa Fucking grandpa. Oh my god. This guys. If you guys read this, you'll know this is fucking grandpa. Real quick before I go off on another tangent, though, enter hashtag Legume. We are giving. Well, technically Michael's doing all this. He is giving away a sketch cover. He's going to take requests as long as you're not a dirty little sick boy about it. All right, so don't be a little creepy, guys. Just like a normal sketch request. Act like fucking adults. Jesus. Anyway, but yeah, it's safe for work, not weird stuff. But we're giving that away. Hashtag Legume. And legume is a bean.
Yeah.
And a special bean. And they know Kung Fu. And they fight robots. They fight, I keep wanting to say dinosaurs, but there's a giant turtle and there's a giant lizard king.
Yeah.
Turtle's a little bit robotic, which really helps in a certain plot point that I won't spoil. But this is just really fun comic booking, and like I said, there's the humor works on numerous age levels, numerous types of audiences. Like I had a blast reading it. I would read it again. If Michael keeps writing them, I would ask, I would seek them out. They're cool. It's also got me interested in checking out more Keen Spot titles, right? Like this is it's an indie publisher that I'm not super familiar with. Michael seems to really like them, and they have some cool books too. So, but yeah, like,
a little about Kingspot. So they do a book called Grubs, which is kind of like a modern day Dennis the Menace. That's in development for animation. They already have like their voice talent set up for that.
Oh wow!
So that one's running. Let's see what else they're doing. Dreamless, Kid Slapshot's another crazy one that I think you'd like. Ninjas and Robots, God Mode, Hollowed. Hollowed, I think, is like a more horror type movie, comic book. So yeah, they have some really cool titles that they're developing for.
I should reach out to him. Do the old. Hey, I'm Blake with Blake's Buzz. You should let me read some of your comic books for free. Yeah. I'm that cool.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd hook you up, man. They're pretty user friendly.
Nice. So. Yeah, it just it's one of the old press contacts I had. Because Boom just recently switched up their press contacts, and one of them went to Humanoids, and I got this email, and from Humanoids, and they're like, Blake, we like your stuff. Can we send you some books? I was like, yes, you can send me. Please send me books. It's awesome. And so they're like, cool. And then I got an email from the old, and I was like, we've talked before. So like, yeah, I don't know. It pays to know people in the industry, but also like, they don't just send me books to like be like, oh, Blake gets these, like, you're expected to read them and cover them, and then if you don't, and then like the Catholic guilt really sets in, because it's not like they just sent you a PDF and you got busy and forgot about it. No, they paid to ship you these books, and they might even send you a hardcover.
Oh,
and
wow.
then all you did was take a picture of it, and then you can't sleep at night. It's being a comic book reviewer is really hard, guys.
You get sent PDFs though?
Oh yeah. By a lot of people. Like,
did you get like to read it before it comes out, right?
Yeah, depending on usually, like, yeah, like most of them you get like the Friday before, and then Aftershock sends them on Monday, and then like I just got on Dark Horse, and Dark Horse is really cool because you get like their weekly books a week early, and then at the beginning of the month they send you all their graphic novel solicits. And so you get this like, or right at the end of the month technically, so like around in the next few days, like for May, I'll get this big Dark Horse email like full of PDFs of like all their trades, and it's just like, it's so cool. But we have been like on Blake and Cole Read a Book, like we've done a few Dark Horse books and stuff. So like I am like paying it forward, right? I'm trying. I don't just get free shit and sit on my fucking pile of comics and laugh my way to the bank, like,
right.
But yeah, it's just like Michael. Like Michael gave me comics in a sketch too, and now I'm under contract with like, he's like,
yeah.
I have a strict regiment that I have to stay up with just for Michael, and yeah. Anyway, no, I'm joking, but yeah, it's Keen Spot does sound like a cool publisher that I want to check out. I would love to cover more of their books, and I mean, just especially now, man. Like anything you can do for indie creators and the people that work for them, like try, because it's a rough it's a rough terrain out there right now. And anyway, I don't want to go all like dark and sad yet. Like we do that later as the night goes on.
Let's go back to Kung Fu Legume's butt.
Yeah. Okay. The butt.
About writing things up. So I can't take full credit for that.
Okay.
And I don't even know if I can take any credit. When I first drew Bean,
did you even draw it? Was it all a lie?
But it was my wife's idea for it.
Okay.
She was like, "Give him a butt." So I used to have him where he was kind of facing, his body was like flipped the other way around to where the curved part of the bean was the front.
Okay.
And then I flipped it and made the back curve.
Put some dump in the trunk.
And it gave the two kind of bumps, like the back of the head.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't take credit for that shit. He also came up with Snurtle Bob, who's in, I think, issue 2, little snail turtle hybrid.
That guy was awesome.
So, yeah.
What is it? It's the snail for the mind and the turtle for the mobility. Was that what?
Yeah. So the turtles, in this world, the turtles are
fucking love this book, dude.
They're super fast, but they're blind. And
okay.
Snails have like they can communicate and they can see, and they have like a navigation kind of system built into them where they can sense the area around them, but they're very slow. So the snail rides on the back of the turtle, and it's a symbiotic relationship between the two, and they're called snurtles.
Like, hey, Pokemon ain't got shit on me. Like, oh my god. The world that he invents is so wonderful. And then, so we've talked about there's our Kung Fu Legume, there's Grandpa / Robot Grandpa, and then there's Monkey. And Monkey is the little girl who's with a big mind. She's like a genius. She's an inventor.
Yeah, super genius.
Makes weapons on the fly.
Yeah.
And like. This robot she made. I mean, she's a very cool little kid, and great on the page. Awesome pink hair that curls up like fucking cinnamon rolls. Like, you guys got to check out this book. Is there now? I noticed. I noticed rereading these. I was looking. I didn't realize that number 5 came out in March, like fairly recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like so that month of Planet Comicon.
Yeah.
And then so. Is there, like, are you working on 6 and 7, or is the trade going to be next, or is it, or are you doing? I know you got another project that if you want to, we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
talk about that. So we're all 5 issues are going to be included into a trade.
Okay.
That's going to come out through Simon and Schuster, and during the holiday season.
Okay.
And it's going to have some extra content in it. I have the original sketch of Bean in there. I have like a couple of ash can drawings I did back in like 2005 or something. It shows kind of the evolution and a little bit of the backstory of the characters. So yeah, that'll come out around holiday season. And then right now I'm working on a book called Zor, Z-O-R. I'm working on that with Rob Potchak, who has done books through KingSpot, and he's an assistant editor there. And it's about a tiny magical creature made from a little girl's tears, who has to search for the little girl's deceased mother's wedding ring that was given to her by her father that fell down a sink. So she's basically crying, and the tears fall down the drain after the ring, and she wishes that she could get the ring back, and the tears form into a little creature named Zor, and it's his mission to go through the drain pipes and recover this ring. So it's all about his adventure and her grief throughout this story. So I'm doing the art and everything on that. Yeah, that's the cover.
That's the cover that they put this on Twitter, so I'm not. It's out there for the public view. So and then that's his at Pochak if you want to follow the writer. He seems like a super cool nerd too. But yeah, I love this cover. I love that. Did you do the logo?
Yeah.
Dude.
So Rob kind of explained to me like his idea of what the logo would look like, and that's what I came up with. He kind of sent me a rough drawing on a napkin, I think that he did, and I did that and turned it into that thing, and that's where we landed.
That's fucking funny because in the Erica Schultz interview I just edited today and posted, the new Blake's Buzz episode, we talk about how she mentions how she's not cool enough to be like, she's not write the pitch on a napkin level famous yet.
Yeah.
Because she was talking about being at an ad agency and like they were sleeping at the office because they were so busy, and these admin would come in with like this like singular image on like a napkin, drop it off and be like, yeah, give me like a 2-minute storyboard out of that, and she'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I'd never heard of this napkin pitching, and now I hear about it again. It's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it works, man. So yeah,
hey, when the ideas strike, you gotta get them. You gotta get it out. You gotta make.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I don't know where he was when he had that sketch come to his mind, but he sent it my way, and I took it and made that logo, and I think we're both pretty happy with it.
And so now you're just going to be doing art. Are you helping with the story too, or is he like scripting it, doing all that?
So it's weird. Rob and I were chatting, and he was like, "Man, I'd like to do something with you." And I had this drawing of this character. If you go to geckodojo.com, you can see this character in a couple drawings on there from way back. I didn't have a story for him. I didn't really have anything, and I was like, well, let me think. And I was looking through my drawings, and I came across him, and I came up with a rough idea, a concept, and I sent it to Rob, and he liked it, and he took that and ran with it and wrote the story. And so he has 3 issues of it written, and I'm about close to halfway coloring. So I'll have the colors and letters done by the end of next week for the issue 1.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And so is that going to be a Keen Spot title too? You said he's the editor there, right? So yeah, it's probably staying.
Yes.
Staying there.
We haven't decided where it's going to be. Where
okay.
It's going to end up. It may very well end up at Keen Spot, but yeah, we haven't really talked about it yet. We're trying to get issue 1 done and then see where it lands.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's still exciting though, man. It's good to have, like, you want the steady work, right? You got to have the things keep coming in before you get all that fucking cartoon money. Keeping my fingers crossed for you though. But
Yeah, I hope so.
I would love. I'm not gonna lie. I would love to get a little fucked up and watch this streaming on some channel, right? Like I would like to get a little Blake's Buzz going on, and then then lean back and have some good laughs with watching this on the screen, because I definitely did the same thing when I was reading it, and I loved it. Like it was so fun. I'm always worried with like all ages titles, if like how hard it's going to be. Well, actually, I worry about this with a lot of guests that I get, and if I'm not super familiar with your work and stuff, is that there's always that like temporary fear of like, what if I don't like the book, and then like, do I lie? Like, do I pretend, or we never, you do whatever for the ratings is what you do.
Yeah.
First of all, how many people are following them on social media? You got to add. I'm just kidding.
You got to do your background work and.
But no, but it is a worry. The same worry of like talking to somebody who's difficult to talk to. If I like can't keep the conversation going, or like if I can't keep, like, what if my brain shuts down and I lose my train of thought, or like what if we have technical issues like that's happened before? So there's these little worries. But yeah, one of them was always like, what if like, this dude gave me all these books, he gave me this great Ninja Turtle like piece, and like, what if I want, like, but anyway, that quickly I found, like I said, that those first few pages of issue 1, that origin story, I was like, oh my God. So that like didn't last long at all. But yeah, I have a hard time thinking of like someone who could read this and just not have an absolute blast. And especially if you had like a little weirdo to like nerd out with too, or, like I said, like this would make a great dude. Like if I was a kid and got like an Easter basket, or like one of my Christmas presents was like some comics like this and some candy, and like, I don't know, a gun. I don't know. I'm just kidding. But it's America. But
America.
but if like that would make a sweet. I remember one year for Easter. It's funny I mentioned. I remember when we used to get presents for Easter. I missed that. Just like you got all this candy and a cool present. But my dad got me like the boost, like the whole box of like the Fleer Ultra Classic X-Men cards that had like the 18 packs in them. And I got like, dude, that was one of the coolest Easters ever. And like,
Absolutely.
he understood the assignment. And my dad's the one that got me into comics, and he doesn't even read comics. He just used to take me to a comic book shop, and he got me Death of Superman, and that hooked me. But anyway, yeah, so like as a kid, like if I got these 5 comics and some candy in
What
a
year
box.
was Death of Superman?
Let's see, it was in 2nd grade.
I'm going to show my age here.
This is 93, or wait, was it 97? Okay, it's between 95 and 97, because like I'm pretty sure X-Men the animated series was happening then too. It's just a great age of 90s. I guess this.
I was well into my 20s then, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't do math, but
I don't have time for math, man. I don't even have time to. Well, I didn't know that we were going to talk about Death of Superman. I was going to say I didn't even know to research. I should have known to research these possible topics that could have came up, so I could just
Superman
be
always
ready.
comes up. When you're talking about kung fu legumes and beans and
yeah, I get distracted.
Yeah, it always leads back to Death of Superman.
Yeah, everything, all paths, it either goes to Kevin Bacon or it goes to Death of Superman, like one or the other. But so what are you're working on the new book and hopefully got some animated stuff like cooking in the oven. When like is Keen Spot sorry, keen on going back to the Kung Fu? Like, are they interested in more issues? Have you guys talked about that or not?
We haven't really talked about it, honestly.
Okay.
I have Zor coming up, and then if people go to geckodojo.com and look at the gallery there, they'll see my 3rd book that I'm going to be doing, and that will be through Keen Spot. It's called Hero Hero. So after that,
ooh,
yeah,
I like that cover.
Thanks.
Did you do this logo too?
Yep.
Damn, man. We need to talk about a Blake's Buzz redesign. I'm gonna have to hire you.
Your logo, I wouldn't change it. Your logo's good.
So when does this come out?
Oh, I don't know. Whenever I get through Zor.
Oh, okay. So it's not. It's still a little off. Okay.
Yeah, I'll probably be working on that and have like issue 1 completed in the fall.
Okay. Are you writing it too?
Yeah, that.
Nice.
I know. Sorry.
Oh.
No. Jeff McClelland is writing this.
Okay.
So me and Jeff came up with this concept way back, and we tried to hire artists to draw it, and we both don't have any money, especially back then.
Yeah.
And I was paying $50 a page for pencils.
Wow.
And to me, that was a lot, and we
now it's not
went through. No, now it's not nothing. And I think I went through 3 artists, and they got to like page 2 or page 3, and then they ghosted us.
Damn.
So it just sat, and then finally, this is why I started drawing Kung Fu Legume, because I just like, I'm like, I'm just going to do it myself. I'm not Jim Lee. I'm not the best artist, but I'm just going to do it myself. And I just did it. So that's kind of where I'm at with my books. So I'm just doing them. I'm telling my stories myself.
So because you're doing the coloring and stuff too. You're coloring digitally, right?
Yeah.
So like. So you had to teach yourself, like, do you use Photoshop or like what? Did you have any experience with like the digital applications, or did you have to learn all that too?
So I was a comic colorist for several companies back in the early 2000s.
Okay.
So like Arcana Studios, Tidal Wave, which was Blue Wave at the time, Platinum Studios. There were several that I colored for. So I've been comic coloring for a long time, but I
Okay.
never drew my own stuff. So that part's new.
Okay.
I've always come up with a concept. So like this concept I came up with and I sent to Jeff. I'm like, here's what I'm thinking, and he wrote a story, and it was great. And then we just could never produce it. So he's going back through the script now just to make sure it's up to date. Make sure it's not like flip phones or whatever. It's actually technology's up to date.
Why do all these
And,
characters have fucking walkie talkies? Like,
yeah. What's a pager? So he's making those updates, and I plan to get that around fall. So
nice. Well, that's exciting. Cool, man. I'm happy for you. I'm like, that's dope. I'm glad you're getting to stay busy. You're good people, and I'm glad you're getting work. And I just really dig your art. That's what one of the most impressive deals about this is just like, I always imagined that like to be artists, right? Or like great musicians and great artists and stuff, like there had to be this kind of spark inside of you, like tuned to a specific something or other that you in turn had to like exercise and practice, but that there was like a little bit of like natural ability involved. I always thought that too about writing, right? And I think I did because just selfishly that I wanted me to be special. Like the reason I'm a good writer is because like I have this thing inside of me better than everybody else. And I can, like cheesy shit like that. But I've recently found that that's totally not the case. Like, yes, there are prodigies and there are like special circumstances, but
yeah.
a lot of artists were self-taught, and a lot of great comic book artists like didn't start out so great and practice and really learn to shine on the page. And so it's just interesting to me that you were like, I'm going to make this all myself, right? And you knew coloring, which I'm sure helps in a lot of ways, and the coloring's excellent, so that makes sense too. That's kind of your sweet spot.
Yeah,
But like the lettering, the character designs, the way it flows, the action sequences and stuff, like it's all very good, and it really is easy to turn these pages, and it's like aggravating that you just were like, I have this story, and I'm gonna learn everything I need to know to do this all by myself. But the same guy says he's not sure about Kickstarter. You're already making the fucking comic by yourself, man. It's not. I feel like, but you got projects lined up, so it's not like you need to be like, all right, we're gonna crowdfund this new one. Though a hardcover Kung Fu Legume on Kickstarter may not be that's the new trend right now when these new trades coming out. I don't know. But that people
hardcover.
Yeah. Some spot gloss, pay some extra money for a book stamp and an interior sketch. You have levels of sketches. You do like a basic sketch, a mid sketch.
Bad idea.
Yeah, man. I got them all day now, right? As I'm like doing it, I'm in this PR shit now. I'm just thinking about how I can make everybody and me money, and not doing a great job. But I'm just kidding. Actually, shout out to me. I know this is about you, Michael, but shout out to me.
I'll step back.
Step back and show off that beautiful shirt.
Oh,
boom. Looking good, sir. Looking good. It's so crazy. People keep buying these things. It's so crazy.
It's an awesome shirt.
But I wrote three press releases this week. Everybody was happy with them, and the third one was for my job as a publicist for Invader, and they had initially been like, when we were negotiating stuff, they were like, we do the press releases and but they got busy and they were like, you want to write the press release? And I was like, okay, like okay, you want to give me some more responsibility? Like, boom, let's do it. Let's run with it. So I wrote this press release. They gave me like a couple notes, and I fixed it and then gave it back to them. And they're like, boom, it's good to go. And so I had a real publisher tell me that I can write a good press release today, and that made me happy. And so that was cool. But yeah, so it's weird. Like I would say they're easier to write than a review, but you got to be a little more bombastic with your wording so that it like is punchy and it sticks out. But you don't have as many words.
It's AP format too, so you have to do it. Yeah.
It's a fun new skill I'm learning.
Nice.
37. Let's switch our careers up. Like, why not? Let's do something totally different.
Always learn, man. Just keep learning.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, one of the reasons why this new Blake's Buzz PR venture is happening is because Michael was messaging me and he was like telling me like how much he liked the platform and what I was doing, and he was like how, like, have you thought about like monetizing this or like working with other creatives or like charging money on your Patreon for like a shout out tier or like helping exposure? And then like, and that's how all that stuff happened. And then I got like a real PR job in the like span of like 2 fucking weeks. Which also after almost 3 months of being like unemployed, right? It all happened kind of serendipitously, right? When it needed to, which was, yeah. So just kind of life is interesting. As Erica Schultz said, the reason this is all in my head is because I edited for like 3 hours before this talk. Oh my god, it was a way. I cut out a lot of good content, unfortunately, but it was content that wasn't really about comics, and I talked about me too much, I thought, and it was cool because she was into it and we had a cool conversation. But I cut a lot of like the me stuff out to like help. It was almost a 3-hour recording with her. Like we just chatted like old fucking friends, and. But yeah, I was like, I can't drop a 3-hour podcast. And so I actually cut over an hour of it, which was really hard to do, both in the software and making up my own mind. But I think for the Patreon, I'm just going to drop all 3 hours on there and just be like, you know what, Patreon, like there's a lot of extra content here that you guys obviously like me more than other people. So maybe you get a kick out of it.
Yeah. I was going to say, take the stuff you cut out and make it a whole nother, podcast episode and be like, here's the Buzz outtakes or what, come with a branded name for it.
Yeah. That would work too. We just had another giveaway. Not sure what's going on. It may be because a lot of overseas people watch my show. I don't know why. Apparently Blake's Buzz is just internationally cool. But we've only had a couple entries for the giveaway. #Legume. Michael is going to give away a sketch copy with a request, as long as it's not weird or gross. And then you can have him draw something cool on a cover, and he's going to draw that and ship it to you, and you can hang it on your wall and show your friends. And #Legume. You can get that for free. A lot of people usually pay for art. And it's expensive sometimes. So pretty cool giveaway, and I would recommend entering that to our listeners, I guess, unless you're from like South Africa or Australia, because no one wants to pay to send you shit. Sorry, but it's expensive. They know the joke. I got one of my buddies, like, I think he's secretly rich. He buys like every awesome like Lego set. I'm talking like the $500 and $600 Lego sets, like the big like Star Wars and Marvel and DC ones. He's always got and like he buys a lot of comics like me, and he's married. He's also married with I'm pretty sure they don't have kids. They have dogs, so that's probably it. They're probably 2 income, no kids. They probably they're not giving all their money to student loans like I am. Well, it's the private loan that anyway. They don't have they're not in a predatory. Not student loan disguised as a student loan deal like I am, so they can. But he's always buying like cool shit. Anyway, he does a lot of Kickstarters, and he lives in Australia, and often has to pay the exorbitant fees. But he does it quite a bit. Like he gets a lot of physical tiers from some of the creatives, so that's cool.
He might not be rich, man. He might be like me, like just irresponsible.
I know that. I know. Unfortunately, like I miss that. That's one of the things I miss about being unemployed. It was like I put a semi-free. Like I invested a lot for Planet Comicon and into Blake's Buzz on audio equipment and stuff. But like after that, like I have held on to. One of the reasons why I've been able to not work for a few months is because like I've only paid bills basically for like a few months. And again, like we were talking about, like, I was just running out of time. Like I was approaching the territory of like, well, we got to do anything to find something. Like we need like that in between thing, which I still may end up having to do, but I don't know. It's jobs are stupid. Like, why do we need them? But yeah. So there's one thing about like making enough to pay your bills. But I used to buy a lot of shit. I bought like a lot. I didn't realize that before. I was like, man, like, I miss like being bored or sad and being able to buy a comic book on Amazon or something to make me feel better for 5 minutes. I was
Yeah.
like, I haven't got to do that in a long time. Or like, I haven't gotten a new omnibus in a while. Well, I got one sent to me. But I haven't like, no new Marvel or DC omnibuses or anything. And I was just like, man, I was like, that's, like the freedom and being able to do whatever and like is nice. But then you're like, oh, I miss, having an income. You
Yeah.
really do. Like,
It's kind of important.
yeah, right. And it was like it would fool me too, right? Because I would check my bank balance, and my balance, it was like, oh, I have a lot of money. It's like, no, you don't, because you don't have a job right now, and these are for your bills for the next 2 months, right? And it was just like, so that kind of kept tricking me too, because it was like I felt safer than I was. Anyways, that's what we're here to talk about, was me and my unemployment and job search. But but yeah, I'm just again I'm so glad you sent me that message, man. I'm really glad we got to connect at Planet. I'm glad you came to Planet. Like,
Oh, man.
I hope you come back. Like, I thought it was a great time, and I think next year's going to be real crazy because it's like the 25th anniversary, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be. They're saying it's going to be like even bigger, and it felt pretty big when I was there. Like,
Yeah.
I got lost a couple times. I was just like, on Saturday, man, I was just wandering around, like I don't even know what to look at, like.
Dude,
And I stayed in the comic area, man. Like I didn't venture out, because I didn't want to spend. I started looking at toys and shit, and I was like, nope. Get out of here.
yeah, I stayed behind my table quite a bit during that convention. I
Yeah.
ventured out a couple of times. I went down and talked to a couple of people that were there that I kind of know. I don't really know them, but I met them in passing, like Phil Hester.
Nice.
And
He was a good dude.
yeah, he's awesome. So a long time ago, me and a guy named Greg Paulson worked together on a book, and he talked me into going to Moline, Illinois, which is near Chicago, I guess. I don't remember. And it wasn't even a comic convention. It was more like a gaming convention, and it was very small. And there was like Corey Hampshire was there, me, Greg, a guy named Mike McMahon, that's a great artist, and Phil Hester, I think, was there. I think that's where I met him. And it was just this very tiny, I drove like, I don't remember, 12, 13 hours. And I didn't sell anything the whole time I was there. I sold nothing. So it was just this like very long drive for, nothing really.
Aww.
Everybody was there for gaming. They're like, no one cared about comics at all. But I think that's where I met him. So, and I've chatted with him a few times over the years. He did like a Shazam drawing once that I colored for something. I don't remember what it was for. And but not a super close, but he's one of those guys that I just kind of know from passing. So
Nice.
I'm able to like face to face see him and go, hey man, I know it's been like 18 years, but but he's well sought after at a convention. So it's hard to get a few words in. So I was only able to talk to him for a few minutes, and then someone else was coming up, so I had to bow out, but it was good to see him.
Yeah, I was glad he was the first one who he was like, come behind the table, and I went behind the table and interviewed him. And we were talking for a little bit. I don't know why. He's one of the bigger people that follow me, like in the comic book world, and he hasn't been on the show until like I uploaded that video from the convention. But he like followed me before then, and he like knew I freaked me out too. He like knew who I was. He was like yeah, I was like, dude, that's Phil Hester knows who Blake Buzz is. That's insane.
That's cool.
But yeah, so I think he might have followed me since before I was Blake's Buzz. Because I used to do just like one tweet reviews. That's how all this started. And then because I didn't have people in real life to talk comic books with, and I found many years ago, not many years ago, but several years ago, I found the comic book scene on Twitter. And I would like buy stuff and read it and post, try and like fit it all in one tweet and tag the creators. And and then that's eventually like I launched the blog, and then I had the pod, and then so that all spun out of there. But that my beginnings, like back when I had like 500, 600 Twitter followers, nothing, right? Like I was just doing these one tweet reviews, but I would tag the creators, and every now and then, like one of them would follow me out of the blue. And, so yeah, I think he's followed me for a while. But it's not like we talk or anything, right? He just followed, like it's, I don't want to be like, it's like Phil Hester and I aren't boys. Like he did give me a free sketch at the con, but he actually, he said,
he's awesome.
He is. He's super awesome. But he sketched my absolute edition of Kevin Smith's Green Arrow, and he did, or he remarked. It's a pretty remark, but it's it's smaller. But he wouldn't take money for it because he said that they get a good cut of commission on those bigger, nicer hardcovers that are more expensive, like per their agreement. Oh, nice, hanging on the wall. That's the single? That's the real first issue, right?
Single got signed by Kevin Smith.
Oh shit, that's dope.
Yeah,
I would love to meet him. He seems like a cool guy.
He came through on his Clerks 3 tour.
Oh, cool.
We got VIP tickets.
Yeah, he's been to Kansas City a few times doing that.
Yeah, that's where I got that signed.
Nice. That and I used to listen to his Hollywood Babylon. Him and Ralph Garman. Like I love that. Like that podcast. Like I would like if I could ever have something remotely like that. Which I don't have a co-host, which so it'd be kind of hard. But I used to love that and listen to it. And like when they like would tour sometimes and do like live recordings at bars and stuff, I'd be like, man, I always wish it'd be so cool if they would ever come to Kansas City. Thanks for tuning in, Promiscuous. I'm glad you got your entry in. This convention is more about networking. Yeah, it's networking, but there's a big money element too. Like it's people are out there hustling, selling art, and I mean I saw a lot of cash transactions, and I did a lot of them. So like, and I shouldn't have. But you get in there and it's fucking intoxicating, man. You got a pocket full of cash.
Yeah.
You're gonna spend that.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna go to the ATM on Saturday and take out another deposit because you spent your weekend load day one.
Yeah, you get caught up in it, man. You start saying all these things that you love, and you see things with your favorite characters, and rare issues.
I didn't go like I said, I didn't buy toys or comics. Like I was buying. I paid for some, some people were charging like, $10 for interviews. So I paid for some stuff like that, bought a couple books, bought an omnibus, and it was a sketched omnibus from Patrick Gleason for the Batman and Robin omnibus, which by the way, don't buy a fucking omnibus at a con. I even bought it at the end of the night, but my backpack was already full and I was like tired, my shoulders hurt, and I was having to carry around this fucking $100 book, like praying no one bumped into it and dented the fucking dust jacket or something. Like, God damn it, that was a mess. But yeah, oh dude, I had so much shit. But yeah, I paid for a lot of remarks. I was dumping some big money on some, not big money, but like some cool money. I didn't buy food at the convention. They did have like that taco cart. I kept seeing people that had like really good looking tacos there.
My neighbor, man, I'm blanking on his name, of course. He did all. Do you remember saying he did all these like real cool Star Wars drawings? Yeah,
kind of. Yeah.
I see. He's gonna kill me because I'm not remembering his name. Super nice guy. He had like a big thing of like loaded fries from the truck out there.
Yeah.
And I was starving. I didn't eat. I was just behind the table. I refused to go and get stuff.
I brought snacks. I had fucking energy bars and like protein bars and 5-hour energy drinks. You know what I'm gonna have next time though? Maybe I shouldn't say this because I don't want my press pass to get taken away. But I'm bringing some Jameson, like some like they were serving. A lot of people did, and they were serving alcohol at fucking like 10 a.m. I was like, holy! And people were at the booths like getting cocktails at fucking 10 a.m. at Planet Comicon. I was like, oh my god!
Yeah, we had a beer sponsor.
Yeah, the Boulevard sponsors.
Yeah, Boulevard,
They sponsor a local podcast. Shout out to First Issue Club, a comic book podcast. Keep hoping Kansas City finds me one of these days. I'm here, runner up for Kansas City Magazine's best local podcast last year. But hey, sponsor me.
Let's keep doing it. Let's keep doing it.
I've been to the Artist Alley. Oh no!
Oh, that's awesome.
I remember that Chip Zdarsky a while back posted on Twitter, and he posted this picture, and it was like, this is why I don't drink at conventions anymore. And he's like beet red in the face, and he's sprawled out laying on a con table.
No.
And he's like, yeah, I could tell he's lit. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, but I was like, man, I bet that dude parties. I remember when he was like writing Daredevil and fucking signing at the DC booth, like illegal at SDCC, like he like snuck over at the DC booth and was fucking signing books over there. And now he's writing Batman. I feel like that was a ploy, like a long con, because he probably knew that was coming or was in the works. But yeah, anyways, he's an interesting man. Another guy I would like to have on the podcast, which Substack has made impossible now. Thanks. I love Substack, but a lot of these creators aren't on Twitter unless they have to be now. They like pop on to do promotional tweets and never look at it again because they're over on Substack, but you can't talk to them or leave comments unless you're a paying Substack customer on a lot of these guys. So like you can't, if I paid for Chip's deal, I may be able to like, hey, would you want to do an interview? And then he would at least see it as opposed to like asking on Twitter.
Well, I think Scotty Young doesn't charge anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he made his.
Oh, yeah, his Substack. Yeah, I remember that. I signed up for it. Yeah, he's I thought that was really cool.
It's very cool of him. Yeah.
Because and all this stuff right now is look at Vanish. Like Vanish was Cates' Vanish is one of the big Substack titles, and I know you get them first over there, right? So but like Image just put out all those issues and the trade. Chip Zdarsky's trade about the like meta comic book making experience. I can't remember the name of it. That's been released through Dark Horse is doing like what Comixology did. Or what they did with Comixology and printing all these like digital only stuff like through their press with their logo on it. Mm-hmm. So all these exclusive comics, I know some people got variants and signed variants and stuff, but anyways, they're not exclusive anymore. So it's kind of weird, but I mean, there's still a lot of people are still making money on Substack subscriptions. So
interesting.
Guess can't knock it till you try it. I know people like that are subscribed to Tinians, and they get like signed variants, and the variants aren't even, they're printed only for Substack. And then, dude, some people sell these things on eBay and they're going for like $120-$150 a cover. Like,
wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they take care of their subscription fans, but it is costly because like it's like $75 a year, or it's like and then $125 a year if you want like the better one where they send you more variants and signed stuff throughout the year.
Crazy.
But yeah, a lot of them seem to be making it worth it, and yeah, if you like digital comics, you get to read all these first. But yeah, it's interesting that like all the big titles that were going to be these Substack exclusive things that everybody freaked out about, they were like, how do I read Donny Cates' new comic? I hate the world. But then now you just get to fucking buy it from Amazon where any book is sold, or preferably at your local comic book shop, ladies and gentlemen.
Check there first.
Yeah, always check there first. But yeah, anyways, yeah, Substack is weird, but I do love it. It just is a bummer that some of these creatives are harder to reach now, that they've abandoned.
I sent one
social
out,
media.
And I was planning on like eventually using it as maybe like a newsletter, just have a place to send out newsletters.
Yeah.
But I haven't really messed with it yet. So I have something set up, and I think I did like 2 little posts on it, but I haven't been back to it yet.
Dude, if I was you, I would start a Substack, and I would do paid readers. I'd put issue 1 digitally. I'd put Kung Fu Legume digitally for free on there. Like as soon as you do it, and then get people into it, then charge. And for subscription costs, basically you get like 1, and you're not making these for people. You're just posting them like 1 Lagoon butt a week. And I mean, I don't know how long it would take you to crank those out, or if after like the second month you'd be running out of ideas. But like
the bean butt,
I would pay for that, and I don't have any money. I would figure out a fucking way to pay for that.
Need some more bean butt, baby.
Yeah, man. Like you got the shit people don't know they need yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's and it's akin to Patreon, right? But a lot of people do use it now because like MailChimp raised their prices. I recently found out.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to build a press list now too for my PR ventures, and I've sent out a couple press releases this week, and it's weird. Like I thought I was pretty slick about it. Like I'm using Sender, which is right now free for me. Once you get like more emails and stuff you need to send, it starts getting pricier. But from where I'm at right now, it's free, and as it escalates, it's way cheaper than MailChimp. But basically, like, I make an image of the press announcements, like text and layout and the comic book covers, and I make all that, and then you just paste that into this template as an image, so that anywhere, whether it goes to like a phone or a computer, it's always looks the same, no matter on like what device, and it can't like fuck up or load wrong.
Yeah.
And I do like that. And so that's another way to do newsletters and stuff too, same way. But Substack has a good community. Well, part of it's a good community. It's got weird people on it too. But the notes thing is really cool. I haven't used the chat yet. I like the interface. It's easy to work on. And I get so many more clicks and views from like, some of them are inside the Substack community, like people just stumbling across my stuff and reading it and subscribing to me. But yeah, it's like way more than when I had blakesbuzz.com, the blog. Like, dude, I was paying, they wanted like 500 a year for the Wix, for the small Wix package I had. And I couldn't pay for it and ended up shutting it down, but I kept blakesbuzz.com. So now you can still go to blakesbuzz.com and it just takes you to my Substack, which is kind of
redirects.
cool. Yeah. Shit that I never, like, dude, I don't, we were talking about like, you know, things that you had to learn to like make your comic and like, you know, kind of learn to draw and, you know, learn lettering and all this stuff and learn not to use a script from fucking somebody. I don't know. But like you know, the internet domain buying and like domain transferring, and all that, dude, I hate that shit. And I like figured it out, but it's always like stressful because I'm getting these emails where it's like, oh, the price is going up, so like you need to renew this, and then it's like, oh no, I'm gonna go sign up with somebody else then because it's cheaper, and then and so you have to like you move your domain around from hosting site to hosting site, and it's not like it happens through several months apart, right? It's not like you do this every month. It's some time passes, and I always forget, and I always stress about and I always wait till the last fucking minute. And these emails I'm getting where it's like, if you don't do this, like you're like, we're either going to charge you more money than you want to pay, or you're going to be
like, oh, it said 8 days. I have 8 days.
Yeah, I got 8 days. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, learning that stuff and like, you know, email hosting and like this new like newsletter press release shit, like it's fucking like it's cool that you can learn this stuff and like pick up new skills. But yeah, that's that website shit. No, like power to the people that do that. And I'm not even designing a site, right? Like there was a time where I was like, that can't be that hard to make a website. People do it all the time. It was, it's hard. It's fucking, that's why those sites pay you out the ass, because they make it easy. They make it like drag and drop, and you can build the site with templates, like super simple, and like make your graphics in Canva and shit like that. And that's why it costs $500 a year. And then, but if you're having to like do all that yourself and like, oh my God, no.
Well, if you decide that you're going to do that on your own again, let me know. That's my day job.
Oh shit! Really?
I do web design, graphic design for the Oklahoma Army National Guard.
Oh wow!
That's my day job. I'm in the Army full time, so that's what I do. So yeah, I can help with that.
Oh wow! Well, shit.
With something, give me a holler. yeah. I've been doing it for years. So
always making connections. Look at me go. Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's cool. That sounds like that's a nice job too. Like you're. I mean, is it pretty chill, or does like do government websites fuck up all the time, and you're just like, oh my God, again?
With ours, it's a lot of like people coming to me and wanting to do certain things.
Okay.
So I'm always adding functionality, but the big deal is just keeping it secure. And Army Cyber has like a bunch of rules, so I have to keep it in compliance.
Okay.
With their rules and stuff. So yeah,
nerd shit, man.
It's a lot of like boring code stuff. Go into it.
My buddy did that. My buddy did one of those deals. I mean, it cost like almost $20,000, I think. But like one of those, like it was like a 6 month or 8 month program, and then he went and got like a really good job after. And I remember he told me, he was like, he was like, dude, I kind of hate it because I'm so bored all the time. Like, I mean, he's like, I'm just waiting around for like something on this website to fuck up, and some days it doesn't, some weeks it doesn't, but I just got to be there. And I'm like, dude, that sounds absolutely phenomenal. Like, I would like,
if the website was the only thing I did, then yes, I would be very bored.
Oh, okay.
I also do like graphic design for
Okay.
like all our recruiters and stuff, and then I do video and photography, and then I do write-ups and press releases and things like that.
Nice.
Yeah, I stay busy, but it switches, so I'm not doing the same thing all the time.
Okay. Well, that's probably nice too. So I'm gonna wait like one more minute. Hashtag Legume. We're gonna give away a sketch cover of your choice, as long as it's not weird.
Four
a
entries.
little bit weird. Yeah.
It's almost like 25% chance, right?
I know. Like I can't believe.
I don't do
like,
math, but I think it's close. It's in the ballpark.
I mean, I can't. I'm trying to give you guys stuff. What are you doing? What are you doing to me? It's got to be because people are overseas watching, because like the numbers don't add up unless people are just like, fuck this Michael Gecko guy. Like, you couldn't pay me. You couldn't pay me to get a sketch cover from this bean manipulator. Legumes don't do kung fu.
Bean manipulator.
Oh, all right. Well, here we go. I'm gonna
do it.
I'm gonna do it. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Slowing down. Brandon Ruddell or
Ruddle.
Ruddle. Okay. There's a Ruddler in the chat. I got confused. Like he even fingers crossed. Hey, it worked, dude. I'm assuming that's the same person. So yeah, reach out to me at Blake's Buzz on Twitter or Instagram or somewhere, and we'll get your address and let us know what you want Michael to draw.
I know this guy.
Oh, well, it's all
gonna be too easy.
It's rigged. This shit was fucking rigged, ladies and gentlemen. No, it wasn't rigged. I swear. We gave numerous chances. I feel good about reminding people about when stuff was, all that good stuff. Well, I really appreciate you offering to do that. I thought that was cool. Yeah, I should have entered myself. Actually, now that I think about it, I could have used another gecko piece for the wall. But no, as we mentioned, so you can get Kung Fu Legume, right now. You can find it in the back issues. Check out Keen Spot. Keen Spot sounds awesome. Michael, I know I put you on the spot last time when I asked you this, but where's a good place to find you on the socials and keep track of you?
I have an answer now. So if you go to geckodojo.com, I have links to all my social media on there. So that'll take you anywhere you need to go. If you want to buy the Kung Fu Legume book, if you want to go to one of my social media channels, it's all right there.
So it looks like is this a joke or for real? Like,
no, he's serious.
All right. Well, I think we can. Oh shit! I did draw again.
Thanks, Ruddle. I'll hook you up anyway, man.
Mr. John Westhoff with Part-Time Comics is the winner. That's good. I couldn't imagine going to a better dude. Just kidding. There's a lot of better dudes out there. He doesn't deserve it. No, it's a joke. I love John. Part-Time Comics. He's good people.
Congratulations, John.
So yeah, John, reach out to me or I'll remind you to, and give me your address. I won't use that for, the wrong reasons, I promise. And oh, I shouldn't have said that live. No, no, John, yeah, let me know and let us know what you want him to draw, and we'll get that sent out to you. I keep adding me to this. Michael will send that. Michael will do everything. I don't have to do shit but sit here and look pretty. But I really appreciate you doing that, man. And I thought that was a cool giveaway, and I'm excited. I'm excited to, hope like you got a place on this show in the future if you ever have like want to hype new stuff coming out or whatever. And I can't wait to get some new books from you. And like I said, I would be so excited if I could watch some kung fu kicking, karate chopping, bean action on
Me
the
too.
TV one day, man. I think it'd be sick, and I think it'd be really like I think it'd be a damn good show. Like I said, like it'd be one of those shows like people are talking about, you know, like they'd be like, did you guys see this fucking like this fucking karate bean? Like he's a kung fu legume. He's not a karate bean. That's the spinoff. But yeah, I'm again, I'm so glad we got to meet, and you're just good people, and I'm excited that you got some cool stuff coming your way. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. It was great to
Thanks.
catch up, and I actually like get to talk to you, not just like for a few minutes with like a bunch
Yeah.
of screaming weirdos all around us.
Right.
But yeah, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for entering the contest. Really appreciate you. I will be back tomorrow night with Daniel Calvin. We're going to be going an hour later though. So that's at like what, 9 Central, or 9 Eastern, sorry. Or wait, yeah, 9 Eastern, 9 Eastern, 6. I know times. It's fine. But yeah, we'll be having him on to talk about American Dreams, and he's got a new Kickstarter sign up. We may be able to squeeze some details out of him. Who knows? Hey, thank you so much for offering, for sacrificing your free gift and for tuning in and hanging out. We appreciate you, man. But yeah, Michael, unless you got anything left to say, I'm gonna play the music and get us out of here, and and you're free. You can go about your day.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. It was good chatting. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Love more, hate less, read comics. We'll see you on the internets, baby.